Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Sunday everyone. I hope you're all having an amazing weekend so far. There's been a lot of things to talk about lately ever since the release of The Mandalorian Season 3 finale, and we have endlessly seen John and Dave answering fan questions and everything related to their outlook on Star Wars, their ambitions and goals in the franchise, and what's to come next with the Ahsoka Tano series. But that brings us centering in on the character of Luke Skywalker. Now, given that Luke is by far the most valuable character in the Star Wars franchise, as you all know, they have to be very careful with how they use him in future installments. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, there's a lot of things happening right now with a full slate of Star Wars TV shows. There's over a dozen in the works. In fact, even Dave Filoni was actually questioned about that today, and he played coy, where they questioned him, how many shows can you really, get us to expect that are coming out? And he just laughed it off and said, you're going to be surprised. Now, the thing about Dave Filoni is that he likes to tease things, he likes to hype up the fans, but one thing about Lucasfilm right now that may come across as either controversial among fans or something that fans may very well enjoy is a full-on recast of Luke Skywalker, but not in the way that you would think. We're going to be going over every single detail about their strategy, about how they are going to recast Luke, and how it's going to be a way of testing the waters to give us a different iteration of Luke Skywalker that we have never seen before. So let's dive into everything about what's going on here. So, as you all know, we have discussed this before in the past, that a Luke recast has been in the cards for well over 3 years now. They've been trying to find the right actor. Sebastian Stan has been bounced around back and forth and then put to the wayside, then came back on board for a while. But moving on, with John and Dave busy developing multiple shows simultaneously for the fans, one of the big plans for Lucasfilm right now is to recast Luke Skywalker to test the waters in one specific show that will be announced at this year's D23 event, instead of using CG or deepfake technology. Now further, it's described that this mystery series is said to focus on Luke Skywalker as a character in his anthology show, currently dubbed as Jedi Knight, where it will focus on him and the surrounding Jedi Knights, where each episode will be focused on a different iteration of Luke at a different age in his life. One of the chapters, however, is planned to involve a full-fledged recast of Luke using a brand new actor. John and Dave have been endlessly pushing for Sebastian Stan to take over and replace Mark Hamill in this chapter for Jedi Knight, which is planned to be 1 full hour long. However, other Lucasfilm creatives are suggesting using an unknown lookalike actor that they do have in mind already that's near similar to Mark Hamill when he was around the age of 25. The reason why they want to recast is that they actually have something planned for this chapter for Jedi Knight that has already been storyboarded. Involves a fast-paced action sequence, something that reportedly the ILM tech is hard to establish a consistent, flawless deepfake for dealing, of course, with that type of motion and that strategy when doing close-ups. Now let me just stop right here for one moment. To be clear, the plan right now is to recast Luke in only one episode of the upcoming anthology series Jedi Knight that's going to be announced this September. Now, Jedi Knight is planned to be 10 full episodes long, 1 whole hour each, focusing not just on Luke strictly, but his surrounding Jedi Knights, where Luke is always going to be the focus, he'll always be there, but it's not necessarily just a Luke show, so to speak. It's going to be about his Jedi Order before, obviously, it came to fall before The Force Awakens, right? And it's interesting because one whole chapter is set to recast Luke for this reason, because there's going to be a lot of fast-paced action sequences, and supposedly ILM's deepfake tech is really hard to utilize that in fast motion, up-close shots on a consistent basis. And it's interesting because when you do examine things very closely, in the Book of Boba Fett, when Luke is like running and he's doing the front flips or whatever he was doing there, if you go frame by frame, you will notice some flaws here and there. But to have even more up close shots than that, I can see how that would be flawed even more so, and why they would want to recast. So basically, what's great about an anthology show is that this gives ILM the liberty to test the waters of different strategies to make Luke Skywalker at different ages per episode. And this one in particular is going to be Luke within his 30s, where the Jedi Order is now established, with new Jedi Knights on his side on the world of Ossus, and of course Yavin 4 as well. So, moving on, with John and Dave currently in a standstill trying to figure out who they want to recast for this one chapter within Jedi Knight, the rest of the episodes will use the deepfake technology just like in Book of Boba Fett for the most part, as well as a brand new tech by ILM that is going to literally de-age Mark Hamill from his 60s into appearing as if he's in his 40s to showcase a different age of Skywalker. Lucasfilm wants to use this as the prime test for a live-action anthology show, where fans can watch any episode in any order, much like Tales of the Jedi except in live action, but bouncing around at different points in time. The show is planned to also be narrated by Mark Hamill himself, as either Luke's Force Ghost or an older version of Luke. Now, here's the deal about this that I find this so interesting, is that you're going to get a completely different version of Luke in each episode, visually speaking and age-wise. That, I think, is very, very revolutionary. It's a very good strategy to test what kind of Luke fans are really going to enjoy. And as you all saw already within the sequel trilogy itself, we got multiple variants of Luke. You know, we got him in the flashbacks, we got him as a Force Ghost, we got him when he was on Octu and stuff around those lines. It'll be somewhat similar in that sense, except when he's alive and well, and based on the designs of himself from Star Wars Legends. This is going to include different outfits, different hairstyles, different ages, stuff around that sense. That's basically what Lucasfilm is aiming for with this new anthology series, Jedi Knight. It's going to explore different aspects of Luke that we've never seen before, and you know what? It kind of sounds like an expert plan through a marketing perspective for Disney, because think about it, they can create endless amounts of merchandise for Luke that's going to surround different versions of himself, different designs, if you will, that's really going to boost sales off the charts, most certainly, if fans feel need be to purchase those pieces of merchandise, you know, like sideshow collectibles and stuff like that. So there's a lot of thought going into this, and they want to make sure that everything is going to be done on a flawless level. They want to make sure that this recast for this one particular chapter in Jedi Knight is going to be done. Now again, John and Dave are pushing for Sebastian Stan. Lucasfilm creatives on the other end feel that maybe they should pursue an unknown actor that is going to be near similar to Mark Hamill, as far as, you know, mannerisms go, as far as, you know, bone structure goes, everything in that sense. With Sebastian Stan, though he does look like Mark Hamill, you would have to do some kind of CGI overlaying to kind of perfect it, whereas if they found a near lookalike example, that might be the better choice to go with. You know, especially if the guy sounds like Mark Hamill, looks like Mark Hamill at an age of 25, we'll have to wait and see exactly how that really happens. So, it's interesting, though, where they're trying to really bring things with Luke. So, anyways, guys, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.